Hi, and welcome back to
Inspired to Game. I'm Sean.
And I am Lola. Today we bring you a playthrough of Fabled, the Eve of Times expansion. Now this game is coming to Kickstarter and we're excited to show you a little bit about the gameplay. If you want to know more about the game, we have a review and overview of the base game and a separate overview and review of the expansion, which we'll link to in the description.
So today we're going to be playing Scenario 8, the Eclipser. We've used all three of the modules that have come with the Eve of Times expansion. We've already shuffled in the extra allies. We've included the goals and obstacles in the location decks, and we will be using the Borderlands deck as well.
So Scenario 8 plays just like the regular base game, except for that we have an additional card, which is the Eclipser. Now this is a bird that we can travel with, or on, in order to progress our stages along the path. So we are beginning with a prologue here, where we get to choose our initial locations that we want to start on. So let's play.
Okay, so we have completed the setup. We've shuffled all the location decks. We've got our supplies set up, the time board, the Borderlands board, and we've chosen our starting allies. Now, I have chosen the Loony Rabbit. He allows me, during my action phase, if I move a sage onto a landmark space, I get a Book of Prairie, or on an action phase, I can spend up to 3 Prairie books to move my sages 3 steps.
And I've got the Rock Titan that came up for me, which allows me to, when I declare movement in mountains, move my sages in mountains 1 additional step each, which is really choice. Okay.
Okay, so now we will begin with the prologue. You're starting.
Oh, I'm the starting player?
You're the starting player.
I'm the starting player. I get to start. I don't know if I want to be the starting player. Okay, let's see what we have here.
Now, during the prologue, each player gets to put out a location and pay the 1 book that it would take to put them out. You do not have to pay for extra locations if somebody else has already put that type of location out, as you would throughout the rest of the game. You also cannot put out Borderlands during the prologue.
All right, so I often like to start by choosing a mountain because I like mountains because you get to put 2 people on at once. I'm not liking what I'm seeing with anything there, though. I am going to spend my mountain book to put something from the top and see what it is. Okay, so I'll put that on the table there to the left of the Eclipser. Actually, I think technically you'd put the Eclipser out afterwards, but It doesn't make much of a difference right now. So, and I put my sages on to start.
Okay, so I'm going to spend, I'm also going to do mountain, and I will take this one. I'm going to put that there, and I put out my 2 peoples there.
Okay. So now, as you can see, the Eclipser is starting to the right as we go. From here on in, now we start chapter 1, which is the first round of the game, as we put on new locations. We can put it to the right of the Eclipser or wherever we want. The Eclipser, once you get to the end, so if nothing comes in between here, I'd be able to ride the Eclipser something off into the future. So it's a great way to move around fast on the board.
Also, during your turn, you can spend a Book of Prairie to move the Eclipser to another location. It is not an action, but it does open up more spaces for you to use the Eclipser to ride to in the future.
So for my first turn, I am going to spend a forest book to put out a forest location. It's good to get your sages out as much as you can. I'm going to put it right in here. Oh, no, I'm not, because that doesn't join. I didn't see that, and it doesn't join there either. Well, I think then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here. So when my sage on the mountain comes over, can join onto that. So that's probably the best move for that. And then I'm going to declare movement in might as well declare movement in forests, just so I'm the only one that benefits for it. Okay, and that gives me another mountain book. All right, and it's your turn. I can pass you ones if you want to see.
Okay, so now I'm thinking to get into the forest so that next time she declares into forest, I can move as well. But that's going to cost me an extra prairie book because there's a forest out there. So now I'm thinking, well, right now the Borderlands is a forest book. Yeah. That cost will change as people put out normal. Actually, speaking of which, you put out a normal forest, so it's now going to cost 2 mountains to put out a Borderlands. So my idea is not going to fly.
Do you want to see the forest locations a little closer?
I can see the forest locations a little closer. Okay.
Or you can take from the top.
Or I could go, or I could go entirely different and go into prairie.
You can.
What's the prairie? I don't like that one too much.
Maybe 2 mountains, or a mountain, or a prairie for however many locations you have out.
Here, I'm going to go prairie.
Laundry is done.
Just like what happened in my Meeple video.
Alright.
Okay. And then I am going to declare, I'll declare movement in prairie then.
You can see how cooperative we are. All right.
That's a short path. Okay.
All right, you're done your turn?
I am done my turn. Now we move the next chapter, which starts with an event.
And we move the Borderlands down because you put out a prairie.
And I put out a prairie.
So the Borderlands cards are a little bit special and a little nice. As long as we're not paying for them, it's higher cost at the start. Then it gets lower and lower as we're putting out regular things, so it gets cheaper to put out a Borderlands.
Okay.
What's our event?
So our event is Between Heaven and Earth. Both parts are active, so once per turn during your action phase, you may discard your ally to reposition Eclipser and or take an action. You may not take 2 identical actions in the same turn, and then once per chapter, when your sage ascends Eclipser and you have 2 allies or less, you may draw a new ally following the game rules. We're not going to have 2 allies in this chapter, so there we go. All right.
Okay.
So you can turf your ally to move Eclipser.
Instead of a prairie book. Okay.
And or take an action.
Okay.
So you could turf your ally just to take a second action.
So I can easily get a Borderlands out right now. I do like that location, which means that your next, which lets you do your next 2 locations twice, which is very nice. Okay, so I am going to get a Borderlands, so it's going to cost me a mountain book and a prairie book. And I am going to get this one because it moves in mountains, because I want to get this one, which moves in mountains, which is going to benefit
prairies?
from my... Oh, was that 2 prairies?
2 prairies.
Oh, okay. I have another prairie, so I can do that. All right. And
now because she bought a Borderland, that goes back to the top.
Right here. All right. And then I'm going to declare movement in mountains. So I'm going to move 2, 2, 2. Oh, yes, but it's not 2, it's 3. So each of my sages get to move 3 in mountains when I declare it. All right, your turn.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a forest, which means I could do a Borderland.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to
All
take this Borderland.
Good choice.
And I am going to put that... Let's do that.
Right in there.
Right in there. And then I put somebody there. I need books. I need to get places.
Yes, I have no books.
Okay, I think I am going to declare in prairies. So that goes there. He moves 2. Do I want to go towards the tree? Or do I want to go towards there? I'm going to go towards the tree. Okay, so then that gives me that. He comes back out. And that is my turn. All right, so now next chapter.
And we get new allies.
So we choose from 3.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, and this is you have to choose one.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Okay. So who'd you take?
The Willowwoods. So that's one of the new ones, new allies from the expansion, which is at the end of the last chapter before the epilogue. I get to take 1 additional full turn. So it's not going to help me in the game, but it will be nice at that very end.
Yeah, I want to take the Sun Charioteer. I have one of them.
Good one.
Looney Rabbit was a new guy. The Sun Charioteer lets me, once per action phase, if I have Books of Wisdom of at least 3 types, a sage can take 1 step. If I have all 4 types, then my sages can take 2 steps, distributed among them.
Okay.
No, sorry. One of your sages takes 2 steps. So yeah, not distributed.
All right, so for my turn, I'm going to take 2 prairies because I have nothing right now. And then for movement, I'm going to declare movement in mountains. So 3 for me. 1.
Now we're just going to reach over here. Sorry.
1, 2, 3. And yeah, that's it for me. All right. And I get the 4 prairie books from there. 2, 3, 4. I should take a 3, but I'll be spending these, so that'll be there. Okay, and almost to that point. That's good to know. So your turn.
Okay, so I'm in the same boat. Mountains would cost me more prairie books than I've got. Prairies would cost me more prairie books than I've got. Can't do anything with conversions. Taking a step is not going to help me. So I think I'm just going to take 2 prairie books as well. So 2 prairie books is my action. Then I will declare movement in mountain as well.
Okay. So this guy
Gives me
goes...
2. I'm going to go there. Gives me 2, and I will go there.
Sorry. Oh, he just won't fall. Keep from falling down.
Okay. So, because we're using the Eclipser scenario, the location that I've moved on to, which is the terrain portal, instead allows me to move the Eclipser for free. And I'm going to move the Eclipser here.
Okay.
So now, if we move prairies, and then he moves back to there. If we move prairies, then he will move on to the Eclipser, and then I can move anywhere except the forest.
Now I wound up on the Tree of Life, which is a new location in the expansion here, which means that for the next 2 locations that I go to with any of my other sages, I get to do it twice. So that is pretty nice. Okay.
All right, done?
Yes.
All right. Chapter 4.
Okay. Now I want to put out another location now that I can again. I wouldn't mind doing mountains because that's where I get extra movement, but to do a mountain, so this is a mountain. This is considered mountain, 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 so that means I would need a mountain plus 3 prairies, and I obviously don't have that. So I want to get on prairies anyway so that I can join up with prairie movement, and I think I will take this one here because that one's going to be a good one. Now we've got 1, 2 prairies out there, I think, so that means 1 plus 2 for the payment, so 3 prairie books altogether. And I will put out this one here. Now I'm wanting to put something out here because once I achieve that place, I get to put something on the next location, which there's no location there, so I want to put this down at the end there. I am definitely going to declare movement in mountain, which is actually a bit of a waste because I don't have much there, but I want to use my double things in mountain, preferably right now. So I think that's kind of my best bet. So I'm going to move mountains, which is going to be 1 here, which means I go to that location.
Okay, so I move 1 to there. I move 1 to there. And that's all I've got in mountains.
So that's going to give me 2 tree books, forest books, which is fantastic. I move this on to the next location here. And my plan here is when I get down over to here, then that is going to let me convert a forest book straight to a sun book, which is really choice location. So your turn.
Okay, and I'm on a universal temple right now, so I can trade 3 for 2 of the next higher. So I will trade the 3 prairies that I have for 2 mountains, and then I am
nice
there, and I am almost done there. Okay, so now I have 3 mountain books.
Nice.
And I can't put out a mountain. If I use my action to take a step with a sage, then he would step onto Eclipser, and I can put him on the main path here. I'm assuming not here because it is part forest.
Yeah, I think
there or there.
Yeah, the Eclipser can land on the first initial forest right after the Eclipser card, but any forest beyond that is just too difficult to land in. So otherwise he can land into prairie or mountain locations.
So I will complete that step to there.
Okay.
Now, Oblivion phase.
That goes away.
That goes away, which means the Eclipser is at the end.
Moves back to here. All right.
Okay, and I am done.
Okay.
So now, chapter 5. First things first. We have the potential for new allies or to upgrade an existing ally.
Okay.
So we'll do that part first.
I am going to take the Trailblazer. That's my third.
Okay, what's the Trailblazer do?
So the Trailblazer, when I spend an action to take a step, I get 2 more and distribute them among your sages. And they can move through unlinked paths with using that as well.
Okay, I think I'm going to upgrade my Sun Charioteer so that once per turn during my action phase, if I have no Books of Prairie, I receive a Book of Prairie. And if I have no mountains, I can perform a conversion.
It's pretty nice.
All right, and now the next part is, we didn't use that, so let's get the next event. Freedom of Flight. So after your sage descends from Eclipser, you may choose one of the following. A, that sage takes 3 steps. Then each player may take 1 step with any or all of their sages in this location, excluding the one who just descended. Or B, you can reposition Eclipser again for free and or perform a conversion.
Okay, so I get to take my turn now, and I am going to spend my action for movement. And when I spend an action to take 1 step, I get 2 more, and I can distribute them amongst 2 I like. So I will take the 1 step, and I'm going to take 2 more, and I'm going to give it to this guy here. It's not going to get me to where I need to go this turn, which is unfortunate, but then I am going to declare movement in prairies. Just take me there.
And I am no longer in prairies.
Oh, he's in prairies.
Oh.
Yeah.
1.
Just 1.
And he is technically
He's
in prairies as well,
too. Yeah.
so I'm gonna head down the mountain path.
Nice. Okay, your turn.
All right, I am going to, well, first of all, during my action phase, if I don't have any prairie books, I get a prairie book. I could take Books of Prairies. Why don't I just do that? If I take 2 Books of Prairies, 1 and 2. Once per turn during your action phase, you may discard up to 3 prairies and distribute that many steps among your sages. So I'm going to spend 2 to move this guy 2. All right, I'm going to declare in prairie. So
Yay!
move 2, and now I'm on to the first step.
And that led me to here, which I'm going to take this. Now, I'm getting low on resources, but this is just a really, really powerful move, and I get to do it twice because of this location. So I get to convert 2 books to the next higher. I've got 2 forests, which are going to be 2 sun books. It's a bit of a deficit right now, but that was worth doing.
That is the name of the game.
So that is done there. Thank you. That was really helpful. You're a good man. Okay.
And a lousy game player.
That's not
so
true.
that's the end of your turn?
No.
No, you haven't declared
That was
yet.
your turn.
That was the end of my turn.
Okay,
Wow.
so we can move that forward. Now it is my turn. Okay, and
Okay, chapter 6.
I'd like to put out more locations. I don't think I can. How many prairies are there out there? So there's 1, 2. There's just 2 prairies? So I could put out a prairie with the 3 of these just to get something else out there. I would like some more mountain tiles, so that is in fact what I would like to do. So I'm going to put this out. And you can move the borderlands down. Where do I want to put this? It's an up 1. That one's not a bad location. So I'm actually going to put it right here. So it's going to be adjacent to the borderlands. Now I have to keep on remembering that I can move the Eclipser as well to get onto other locations easily. Okay, but in the meantime, that is what I've done. I think I'm going to declare movement in mountains. So, oh yes, my declaring movement in mountains lets me move 3. So 1, 2, 3, which puts me there. And 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I just get to move 1 and 1. Okay. And then this guy comes home.
Goes away. And so I will visit this location. I get a mountain book. And Oblivion phase, anything that's empty gets removed from the game. Okay. And your turn.
Okay, so my turn. I have prairies. I have mountains. I'm okay. There are less mountains now, but it's still going to cost me a couple prairies, and I don't have them. I'm just going to do a conversion. Try and get to some forest books on my way to sun books. Then I will declare in mountain. So I go there. I go there.
I'll join you there, buddy. Let's go walk side by side.
Okay, so that puts my guy in the Hermitage. All right, so the Hermitage is going to let me go on the main path here, and I get to do it twice because of that guy.
Nice. All right.
And then I am done.
Okie dokie.
So now we're on to chapter 7. And again, you don't, because you've got a maximum of 3 allies, so I will take a quick look to see my 3 allies. Do I want to add anybody on here? Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I am going to upgrade my Willow Woods to make my last extra movement especially nice.
I'm going to take the Herald of the Lands. I love the Herald of the Lands. So before the Oblivion phase, I declare movement in a location type different from what I declared during the movement phase, and everybody that has a sage in that location, all sages in those locations, move 1 step.
Yes, that's very nice.
Okay.
Okay, I am going to get to prairie books because I need some prairie books here, and I am going to declare movement in forests. So I come to here, both of those go and visit the Hermitage, and that means both of mine get to go on the next location. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, we put anything out there. So if I spend that, this is not an action, so I'm going to move the Eclipser to there.
Nice.
Now, because of my Sun Charioteer, once per turn in my action phase, if I don't have Books of Prairie, I get a Book of Prairie.
Useful.
I got a Book of Prairie. Okay, I'm going to spend a Forest and a Book of Prairie. I'm going to grab this. And I am going to put that, wouldn't connect there. I will connect that right there then. Put somebody there. Alright, now I declare movement. I will declare mountains.
Okay.
So 1, 2 there, 1, 2 there, and I will move you 1. That's the only mountains we got.
Yeah.
Except for this guy. He moves onto the Eclipser and descends. Ooh, now there's something. He's going to descend, and then I can take 3 steps with him. Can go there. I've got a lot of people in there. I can't go to either of these. So I'm going to go descend here, and then I will take 1, 2, 3 steps. Each player can take 1 step with any or all of their sages in this location. So you can take
1 step?
1 step
with everybody?
with any or all, yeah.
Any or all. Nice. So those 2 will move, and
you don't even have to take that step if you don't want to.
I don't see why not. It doesn't do anything for being there. So I will take him off. Okay.
Okay, now my Herald of the Lands is going to say, let's take... What did I... That was mountain I did, right? Yeah, because I moved. Okay.
Yes.
So now I can say, the Herald of the Lands says everybody in forest or prairies moves. I will do prairies. And then everybody in the prairies takes a step forward.
Okay.
Oh, drunken sages, I tell you. Leaning on his buddy. And now that was the end of my turn.
Yeah.
We move forward.
And the next event.
The next event is Wings of the Wind. After repositioning Eclipser, you may choose one of the following. Choose any 2 locations that are now between where Eclipser was and is now. Each player may take 1 step with any or all other sages in these locations. Or B, each player may take 2 steps with any or all of their sages in a location directly before Eclipser.
That's interesting. Okay. So you don't have to actually ride Eclipser, you just have to reposition him in that turn. That is kind of cool. All right, so I am going to decide what I think I might actually utilize that, because I know I just want to move. It's getting towards the end of the game. I want to get my sages to their end goal locations as much as I can and as fast as I can.
I've not been utilizing my Sun Charioteer because I haven't had enough books.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend a prairie to reposition the Eclipser. And I think this is a good one to my benefit. I'm going to place it between these two forests. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to do the 2 movement to the left to move these guys. Okay, and so that was before my turn. So now I get 3 movements to do my action as the movement that I can distribute as I want. I think I'm going to take those 3 movements in here. 1, 2, 3. Get that up. And then I am going to declare movement in forests. To get both of those 2 up, which is going to put me there. Give me 2 forest books. Yeah, and put those guys there. All right. It's getting close.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, my turn. Sun Charioteer expanded. If I don't have any prairie books, I get a prairie book. I am going to take a movement as my action. And then I'm going to declare in mountains. So I move 2. I move 2. Your guy moves 1.
Yeah, in there too.
I knocked him over. It was totally an accident. All right, so now I get to do that location twice because of that. Now I'm at the end of that prairie. So I did that twice. You got yours, so we're both there now. And now my Herald of the Land says, everybody in prairies, take a step forward. It's like the hokey pokey.
And you turn yourself around.
And then it moves there, and now my Oblivion phase removes that card.
All right, and you're done. When we move forward, we're down to the last couple of turns.
Chapter 9. And I don't have any sun books yet!
Actually, usually we have a lot more going on by this point in the game, so it's really kind of interesting. All right, so at this point, I tend to not want to add new locations because you don't have necessarily the chance to get to any of the good Fabled Place locations. So I will probably use mine either to get more prairie books. I'm not going to do conversions because I have people heading down here. That's going to change that straight to there, so that saves me conversions. So that's something that I'm wanting to prioritize doing. Okay, so I am going to take movement, I believe. So 3 movement because of my Trailblazer. I'm going to do 1 and 2 to get these guys going on a ride of Eclipser, and I'm going to move them straight to there. And I have 1 more movement that I can do, which I'm going to move this guy here, and then I'm going to declare movement in prairies, which is going to get me up here for that one. And these 2 there, and these 2 there. Coming in strong with that, hopefully.
Okay, and that put me in the Universal Tower, so I'm going to trade...
Your first sun book.
My first sun book. Hey. Chapter 9.
All right, your turn.
Okay, so my turn. Hey, look at this.
You got all 4
I
books?
have all 4 types. So one of my sages can take 2 steps right off the bat. Okay, so
I forgot to get these 2.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
One of my sages can take 2 steps. This is gone as well in your Oblivion phase.
Yes. Can you start moving it this way? Because it keeps just moving more and more over that way. Thank you.
Okay, so 2 steps. Him onto an Eclipser, and it's 2 steps. 1 sage takes 2 steps. Okay, this guy's going to take 2 steps. 1, 2. Kind of split them out. I got a whole pilgrimage going on up there in the mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my sun.
I got a pilgrimage in the prairies.
I will just take 2 books of prairies then.
Not a bad idea.
Now I'm going to declare movement in mountains. So somebody ascends to the Eclipser. He moves 2 into a house of root. These guys move 2. Your guy is also going to move.
Take a ride. Okay. Where are you going to go to?
I am going to the prairie. Now, I have not repositioned Eclipser, so that does not count. Okay. So now he comes back. I get a book of forest. For the Herald of the Lands, I'm going to move everybody in forest 1 step forward, and that's just me.
That's just you. Okay.
Done.
And last.
Chapter 10.
Last turn for you. I get 1 more. All right. All right, so I'm going to use that
You're not
Eclipser
playing this
to
game well
move. And so, okay, so it's everybody to the left, if I go with B, is going to move 2, right? So I am going to pay a prairie to move the Eclipser over to here. All right, and everybody to the left is going to get to move 2. So that you're done there, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I move on to the Eclipser.
Got it.
When the Eclipser's at the end,
that's right.
You reposition, or you
Nice.
descend to the beginning of the path.
Okay, so these both get there, and then 1, 2. They're sticking to me. They're sticking to my fingers, and then 2 there. It's the pilgrimage. The
yes, you are correct. I would want
pilgrimage.
to move
Okay, so I'm coming back down here, and these 2 force become 2 prayer sunbooks. It's the only thing is I'm funneling them through there, but I don't have a lot to move up into sunbooks. But hey, that's not too bad. All right, so that was me just doing the Eclipser. I haven't actually taken my turn yet. I'm going to do conversions for my turn. Unfortunately, I get 2 conversions and I can only do 1, but I think it's worth doing because then I am going to move in prairies. So that's 2, and I'll move you 1 there. And these guys come off.
Yeah, they have 2 Eclipsers, so they come there.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder of that. So that would still be 1, 2.
Like 2? Oh, yes, 2.
You said,
yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I move
ascending
these 2,
and descending.
and then go up there, and then these 2. Well, no, you don't. That was just me doing 2. Okay, so we split up. We parted ways. And I come back down here, and I get 2.
But did you move in prairies? All right, so you got an extra step.
So
Never mind.
2 forests.
Her hand was in the way.
2 forests for 2 sunbooks. I need to convert. I have so many sunbooks. I just need to convert some of these into something else. Okay.
She is a voracious reader.
Voracious, yeah, exactly. I love my mystical arts. All right, so that is me done. And it is just making sure, and it is your turn. Oh, okay. Yeah, and it's the last turn. It's your last turn.
It's my last turn. Can I score? Is that 3?
You might want to do some conversions, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, but my goodness, what am I going to do? So if I convert 2 prairie to a mountain, and then my second conversion, I will convert 2 mountain to a forest. Now, before I did all of that, I should have done my movement of my sun charioteer.
Okay.
Because then I had all 4 types at that point.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Which is going to be him. He'll take the 2 steps. 1, 2, in the prairie. I could, for my loony rabbit, spend 1 of these to move him 1 step, which we'll put there.
Nice.
Now I can convert that to a sunbook and come back to that last space. And now I'm into my movement phase. What can I do with my movement phase that will do anything useful? I will declare in mountains. Okay. So he takes no steps because he's done.
And here's 2 for that guy.
1. I get a forest book because I went to the House of Roots.
Okay, nice.
I am done, and then in my oblivion, before my oblivion phase, my Herald of the Lands says, let's take a step in the forest.
Okay, awesome.
Madame, I think we should take a walk in the woods.
Now this would be the end of the game, except for my Willow Woods. Gives me 1 final turn, and on your action phase during your last turn of the game, you may perform 2 conversions or distribute 2 steps or receive 2 for each of your Sage Forest location. I have nobody in Forest. I did not read that far, so I don't get. I upgraded that, and I'm not even in Forest, so I don't get to do that at all. That's the lesson of reading your card to its completion. And I had remembered last time I used that one, I had 3, and that was so fantastic. Yes. But in any case, I still get an additional full turn. So I'm going to take some movements for my action. So I get to take 3 movement. My best bet for finishing the game is I'll spend 3 movement here, and then for my movement phase, I'll move into mountains, and I get to move 3 in mountains. So this, and this guy would return to you, and you would move 1 there, and I get 1 final book of forest. All right, and that's the end of the game.
I wonder who won.
So you can see clearly who won. Should we count out our books of sun? So that is the end game condition, is whoever has the most sun books, and from there, if it's a tie, you go to forest books and then to mountain books and so on and so forth. So I've got 6 to 2. So very good game, sir.
Yeah, I was just realizing I had prairie books. I could have moved Eclipser, but Eclipser just would have put me at the start of a main path, so wasn't really going to help me get any more sun books.
So Eclipser was a fun one to play. So as I said, we played through a lot of the scenarios. This was our first time playing with Eclipser. So I think playing it again, we probably put more use to it to really help you get along. And some of those events are really, really wonderful to be able to just move the Eclipser and use it in other ways. So if you enjoyed this playthrough, let us know if you'd like to see playthroughs from us. Thank you so much for watching today, and make sure to check out our overview and review of both the expansion and the base game.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. As always, happy gaming, folks.